Hello YouTube fans, here again, and I figure why not, go to the final frontier, that being Star Trek 2. Can't do it, so I'm not going to try. The Wrath of Time, that's right, the Wrath of Time. Now, because of the success of 79 being Star Trek the motion picture, people loved it, but people tested it. What do I mean by people testing it? People testing it because people saying it wasn't as faithful to the series, even though I thought it was. People thought it was going to be like Star Wars, it was going to have laser guns, it was going to have fucking starships fighting one another, and so on, but it wasn't the case. Now, granted, in the motion picture, I almost forgot that you do get to see Klingons in the opening. People thought it was going to be like that. You're going to have Klingons, you're going to have other aliens fighting one another, and so on, but it wasn't the case. It wasn't the case. To me, it was like 2010 Space Oddity meets Star Trek. And it's good to see the old team back, but because of that, they decided why not do one more to see how it goes, that being Star Trek 2. The Wrath of Time. And there's one thing I do actually like about this one. With The Wrath of Time, if anyone remembers the first series, you remember a character, a villain, I should say, called Time. And it's like done in one way because you bring back Time. Now, the only thing is, if you ever saw the 60s, so it does look like something from an Indian. When I say Indian, I don't mean the one with a tubing on the head. I mean an Indian like cowboys and Indians, bang bang, that sort of era. He was tanned, he had a slick back rig, set back. You got the idea that Time was a bit of a womanizer, and it ended where they beamed him up on another planet. Yeah, he was a bad guy and so on, but when you see him in the series, I'd say he was more of a mid-studs character. I say it again. I'd say he was more of a mid-studs character. In this, he's definitely evil. I like the blonde hair. I like the fact he's evil. I do know they did him a fake test to make him look mustier than what he was. And it's refreshing to see a bring back an old villain that we all remember from the 1960s. You do get a different opening. You don't get the they saved that until they got to the fifth, as well as Star Trek Next Generation, being the TV show. But I do actually like the music. I do think it's a taxi theme tune. To me, it reminds me of the film called Troll. Never seen Troll? Very good fantasy adventure film. And in the opening, I swear, the ones that did the music to Troll did the music to this. It definitely has that similar opening. So you've got that as an opening. You've got a scene where they're on the Enterprise. You've got this other Klingon woman who you might remember being Kirstie. Now, Kirstie, may she rest in peace. We all remember her in Tears. I also remember in my favourite sci-fi film being Runaway with Tom Selleck. May Kirstie rest because it was her first big break. Very sad what happened to her. I was remembering Look Who's Talking as well as the sequels. Very attractive woman in that era. So she plays a Klingon. She's sort of like pretending to be a captain, and Dr. Spock gets killed, Dr. Bones gets killed, all of them get killed. You're thinking, whoa, what a way to open this film. And then you find out it's fake. It's a training program. And I love the fact that Captain Turk says, risk for luck, because you never ever offend her. You never offend to Klingons, meaning you never, I offend her. I'll give up, I'll be your prisoner. You never ever do that to Klingons, because Klingons don't take prisoners, they just kill you. So I kind of like that little touch. And they do find out there's an alien planet, it's never been on thingy before, and you've got the idea that some of the characters, like, I can never remember his name now, Alora. I say his name was Alora, and his other die. I remember the die actually being in The Servant and the Rainbow. And I do remember him in the film I reviewed weeks and weeks ago. It's funny enough come out the same there, that being White Dog. Now, I felt it's sad, White Dog. It's one of them films. It's very hard to watch. I respect White Dog. It was a very well made film, but the ending always made me cry. And he was the one that shoots the dog. Do I hold any judges? No, the dog was going to kill someone. It's either let it kill this poor guy or shoot the dog. But it was still a sad film to watch because, you know, the dog wasn't a bad dog, really. It was made that way. But it was the same actor, Moive, because I know he's sadly no longer with us. And they beam on this planet, and it's like a desert planet. And then halfway through the film, the character Aloris, I say his name is Aloris, discovers that charm from the 60s, so, and his band are on that thing, and they get taxed. The thing what makes me laugh though is in series 1, he was never in the episode. He was never in it. He did not come into the episode until they got to start at series 2, the second series. He was never in the first series, so he never even saw fucking time. But I went with it. It was a film. So there's a bit where they're trying to get information out of them, and they do get these alien leeches. And these alien leeches, that like beard, they're horrible, they stick them on the face. It's pretty graphic scene, that series. It's practical. Some people say now you can see how fake and phony it looks, but compared to CGI, I'd use practical any day of the week. And they go in the ears, and you got the idea it sends them mad. Now, I do remember this one actually being ultra violent compared to any of the other films. Star Trek 2, Wrath of Time was ultra violent. I do remember they had a theatrical as well as a televised version. The televised one, they timmed it down a bit. This one I'm on about, it's the uncut one. And I remember seeing the leeches going in the ear, goes in the eardrums. Oh, really looks painful. And time can control them. He can make them basically do what he wants them to do. So what happens is they get beamed to this other planet, and you do get tapped into Tito's son in this. And this actor, sad to say, is no longer with us. I always remember him in Fight Night Part 2, the dud one. He was on it by Tiny Brewster's mate. He's been in that for other things as well. And the one that pays his mum, she's sadly no longer with us. May she rest. And so on. So what happens is Captain Turk comes down with his men. They find out that time sent them mad. The one who I just said, who was in Servant and the Rainbow and so on, he goes to try and shoot Captain Turk, but he won't do it. He actually self-sacrifices himself, puts his laser gun on and kills himself. One thing is I do actually like the costumes in this. I've got to admit, that's one thing that was not mad on the motion picture, the way they all looked. So they altered the costumes. They stuck with that right to the days when they did the TV series, being Next Generation. I've got to admit, it's a big improvement. And this is one where Time says, I'm going to leave you like you left me, ballooned. And I love the bit where Miriam sat there, strapped into it, starts that line out, Time! Time! And there's a bit, like I say, Alura's, the leech comes out of his ear because he rips the helmet off. I don't know, he rips something off and it basically fingers him. And I always have a feeling he's half deaf in the ear, but they never put that up in any of the other films. It's the same here. I'd love to see the scene maybe where he had an hearing aid or something like that, you know, like it fucks up his hearing. But I went with it. So there's a bit where they go to this planet, like I say, they find that half the people have been killed. Time's men killed them all, bit brutal, bit graphic. But they managed to get back on the ship. The son discovers it's his dad. So it's all like a father and son bonding. Time's down the dogfighting with the spaceship. Kills a couple of people on the way. Again, bit of bloody, bit of fire. This is had to be one of the most violent ones in the film. Really was. So what happens is Dr. Spock goes in, does a Falcon move. I think he does, remember right, he does it on Dr. Bones, and he does this thing, like a mine thing. But Danny left an opening for him, because I think at the time, James Seymour was having doing any more, they did any more films, so he decided to kill his character off. So what he does is, gets his thing, beams it up, self-sacrifices himself and destroys Time and his men. It's not the same really, because I would have loved to see a fight with Time, William Shatner as Captain T-Turk, and have a big epic fight that they did in the TV show. Never to be. Instead, they have a dogfight, the ship gets destroyed, Time and his men and his woman, his bitch gets killed. Now, I've got to admit, I like some of the characters. The women, pretty to look at, but they're there. They're there. You see photos of them, they look more like they have a character about them, but in the film, To me, they was just there. Could take them or leave them. But Tam, I think the actor, he plays it brilliant. I love the fake test to make him look big and muscular. I kind of like the hairstyles. I like how David Bowie had it in the Bimph. I like it. So he's deaf, he's pretty epic. He says aside, I will get you. I will fight you to all the planets. That's not to be because he gets destroyed. But I do remember the scene. It's an hard scene. Dr. Spot dies in front of Captain Turk. He says, I always remember you as my friend. Because there was a bit before all that where it was Captain Turk's birthday. And I know we don't like our birthdays when we get old, or old age sucks ass. I get it. But there's a scene in that where he mentioned that, and Captain Turk was too busy feeling sorry for himself because it was his birthday. But like I say, the bit with Dr. Spot dies, it's an hard one to see now because we all know that James Seymour's no longer with us. So it is hard, even though it's only a film. So they have a funeral to remember Dr. Spot. The alien planet is now turning into a normal planet, which still follows on in that one. And it ends like that. But I just like Star Trek to The Wrath of Time. I actually like it. I think it's a damn good film. They definitely made it more action-packed. It definitely was a lot more out of firing. I do remember it having a 15 rating originally on the days of VHS because it was a lot more firing than any of the other films. But I like it. I think it's a damn good worthy sequel. It's that good, I does. Couple of years later, they did that one, which I'll get to eventually. But into them. I'm going to boldly go where no man's gone before, and I'm going to do it when it right it deserves. An 8-star rating. But into them. Be smart. Be safe. See you later.